Stitchy friends! How is everybody doing? Today is Tuesday, September 24th, 2024, and this is the Runner Stitcher. My name is Andrew, and this is my dog Winston, and we're here for Flosstube number 23. Feels like it's been a long time, but also not a long time at all, so I can't believe we're at number 23 already. Yes, Winston. How's everybody doing? I hope you're all doing really well. I feel like I've got a lot to go over today, so this might be a little bit of a longer video, but we'll see how concise I can keep it throughout. But yeah, just a bunch of things to kind of chat about, and hopefully you all enjoy it. So if you are new here, welcome. This is the channel where I talk mostly about my cross-stitch journey, but also a little bit about running and what I've got going on there. I do have some running things to talk about first, and I'll talk about that at the beginning and then move on to cross-stitch. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for coming back and spending some time with me and Winston. I know he's a definite draw in this channel. But I hope you enjoy your time with us, and I hope you've got some stitching ready and you're ready to get some progress and work done. So the first thing I wanted to say was a huge thank you to Pam and Steph from Just Keep Stitching. I will link their channel down below. They last week, or I guess it was 2 videos ago now, they named me their silver Flosstuber, and I was just floored. I had no idea it was coming, and it was so fun to be watching the video and then hear my name called. I literally had to rewind the video to make sure, did they just say my name? It was awesome. They had such kind things to say, and I was just flattered that they knew my channel and had watched it and had those nice things to say. So Pam and Steph, thank you so much. I love your channel. I watch it every single week, and of course we all do. And love to see everything you're stitching on, and I'm so grateful that you two both share your art with us. But yeah, just wanted to say a huge thank you to them for the shout out. I also felt really excited that I was called out alongside Laura from Stitching by the Shore. She was the gold Flosstuber of the week, and what great company to be in. I love Laura and her channel as well, so I will link both of them below. And I know that I've got a lot of new subscribers since that happened, and just wanted to say a huge welcome if you're new from either of those channels within the past week. Thank you so much for stopping by and checking out my videos and subscribing. It's awesome to be a part of this community, and I really just love it. So I thought, since I had quite a few new subscribers this time, that I would just give a little bit of a background about me and my stitching journey early on. I know I talked about this a little bit in my first couple videos, but figured for the new people coming on, I would just touch base on it briefly. So when I was young, probably in middle school maybe, my mom got me my first cross-stitch kit. I remember it was a bear. I think the bear was holding a crayon, maybe. I can't find it anywhere. I've searched on like eBay and things to see if I could find it. I don't know what the name was or what the brand was, but that was my first cross-stitch kit, and I loved it back then. My mom and my aunt used to cross-stitch on sweatshirts, and then they would sell them at like our craft fair and things. And so I've always really enjoyed it. And then, as I got older, I sort of fell out of touch or out of love with it for a while and got busy with school and college and work and all the things. And just about a little over a year ago, it was May of 2023, I started picking it back up. I bought a unicorn kit, a kit of a unicorn, and it arrived and I started stitching it, and I also stitched a full coverage Sailor Moon piece for my boyfriend and loved every minute of both of those pieces. And that's when I started watching Flosstube, and of course the rest is history, where once you start watching Flosstube, you find all the amazing designers and all the amazing fabrics and floss and silks and everything. And so it's just been a journey ever since, and I have loved every single minute. I feel like this is such a nice hobby because although we're just making X's on the fabric, there's so many different things that can make a project unique or interesting with the materials we're stitching with, or what we're using to stitch, if we're doing it in hand or in a hoop or a Q-snap. There's just so many things to try, and I want to try them all. I just loved it so much. So yeah, that's a little bit about my journey so far. And I'm still very new to all of the things, so I'm learning as I go, hopefully along with all of you. I live in New York City with my boyfriend, and That's home to us. I've been here for a little over 14 years now, so it's been a while. It feels like home. And unfortunately, we have no LNS here or nearby, so I'm accustomed to ordering online, and that's okay. But I also love when I get to go somewhere else and explore a needle workshop. It's so much fun. So anyway, yeah, that's a little bit about me. Let's move on to the next phase, and that is my running journey. So if you're new here again, I am training for the Chicago Marathon, which will take place this October, and I'm nearing the end of my training. So this past weekend, I had my final big long run on the weekend. It was 20 miles, and it went really well. My energy level was up the whole time. I felt good afterwards. My legs were a little sore at the end of it, but I think that's just natural after that many miles. But yeah, it was really good. I felt really good, and that kind of gave me a little bit of a confidence boost for Chicago. I've had some tougher long runs this training period, and this one went really well and just, helped me know that I can do this. So for the 20 miles, I did 10 miles just around my neighborhood first, and then I finished with a race that was being put on by New York Roadrunners in the Bronx. It was called the Bronx 10 Miler. And I've run this race before, really enjoy it. The crowds are a lot of fun in the Bronx, and I figured what better way to finish my 20 miles than to have 10 miles where there's at least Gatorade and bathrooms and everything on the course. So I did that, and I was able to finish that, so I wanted to share the medal I got with that today. So this was the New Balance Bronx 10 mile race medal for this year, which is really cute. I love the red. They have a 5-borough series run, a race in each borough, and each medal is a different color. So unfortunately, I did not run them all this year, and so I don't have them all to share, but it is really cool when you have them all together with all the different colors. So that was a lot of fun, and my timing was really great too. I was shooting for a 9-minute mile pace for my 20-mile run, and according to Strava, I hit that on the head. Strava said I ran a 9-minute pace for the whole time. There was a little bit of up and down throughout, but the average pace was 9 minutes. And so I was really happy about that, and especially that I felt good afterwards. So that is my final kind of long training run, and from here on out, it tapers down. So I'm on the downhill swing until race day, which race day will be Sunday, October 13th in Chicago, and I'm super excited. I've never run the Chicago Marathon before. It'll be my first time, and it should be a lot of fun. I'm running it with one friend, and I've got 2 other friends who are coming as well, so it should be a good weekend. But as I've talked about this race so much and all this training so much on this channel, I appreciate you all listening to it all, but I thought, how can I incorporate stitching into this as well? And so I came up with the idea of hosting a little stitching challenge for you all. I know we all love challenges and love prompts that can kind of tell us what to stitch on. So I decided to do a stitching challenge, and it is going to be called #Stitch the Chicago Marathon. And the challenge for this will be to stitch 10 stitches for each mile that I run. So the marathon is 26.2 miles. So that means there will be a total of 262 stitches that you will need to put into a piece of your choice. It can be any piece that you want to use for this challenge. And the challenge, you can do it anytime during that day, which is Sunday, October 13th. If you want to get 262 stitches in throughout the day that day, that's great. Or if you want to challenge yourself a little bit more, you can start the challenge when I start the race and see if you can finish 262 stitches by the time I finish the race. Typically, it will take me between maybe like 4 or 4.5 hours on a good day. So that's about the time frame you would have to stitch it in. There will be an app that the Chicago Marathon will have that you can download, and you would actually be able to track me, and I'll give more of that information. I think I'll have one more video before the race occurs, so I'll give more of that information once we get closer. But you'd actually be able to track me where I am on the course, and you could see exactly when I start, so you would know when to start your stitching and see how far you can get in the time that I'm running that race. The other awesome thing is that Ymir from Almond M&Ms here on Flosstube, I'll link her channel down below as well. She's also got some gorgeous silks that I've never tried and still need to. But Ymir is also running the Chicago Marathon, and so she's going to be joining in on this as well. And she's got a hashtag as well. I think it's Stitch and Run or Stitch While I Run. I'll put the hashtag here once I have it for sure. But you can feel free to use either of those hashtags and stitch along as Ymir and I run the Chicago Marathon. I'd love to have you join in on the challenge and see if you can add 262 stitches to one of your projects that day. If you have any questions about it, please feel free to comment below or reach out to me on email and let me know. I'm happy to answer anything, any questions that you have, and it'll be so much fun. Feel free to also tag me if you're posting on Instagram with the hashtag, because I definitely want to see what you're working on and would love to see who all is completing this challenge. So yeah, thought that would be a lot of fun. And I think that's all the running talk that I have here at the beginning. So let's just jump into the stitching for this week. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start with new starts. And I've got two this week. One of them you may have already seen because I posted on Instagram, and the other one was a WIPGO call that I had told you about last time. So no surprises here. But the first one is Autumn is as Joyful by Lila Studio. I'll put a picture up here of what it looks like at the end. And I am stitching this along with Samantha, the Higa Stitcher, for her hashtag Autumn is as Joyful Sal. And she started this on Sunday, which was the first day of autumn, and I had to join along. I love this pattern. I've actually already started the Halloween Quaker, and so I'm hoping that this fall season I'll be able to bring out both of those and get more stitches on both of them. Yeah, so I did this after my long run, after my 20-miler, and after walking Winston, I got all my chores done, and so I sat down on the couch and had a lovely evening starting this project. So I want to go ahead and share with you where I'm at. It is not a big start, so don't get your hopes up too high, but here is the stitching. So this is on a 40 count Winter Brew by R&R Reproductions, and I'm stitching this with the Vicky Clayton silk conversion, which I'm obsessed with. If you have not tried Vicky Clayton silks, I highly, highly recommend them. They are so lovely to stitch with, and look at these colors. I don't know how well you can see that with the shadow, but look at those colors. They're so fall, so cute. I've also got my little bear needle minder here from my trip to Tahoe when I saw the bear. If you missed that story, go check out the previous video. But this was just such a lovely start. I can't wait to pull this out more. Obviously, I think I only got 179 stitches, so I'm at 0.67%, which is fine. A start is a start, and I can't wait to pull this out more. This is the first fabric that I've had that when I pulled it out, there was like a smell to it, and I was like, what is that? And my boyfriend smelled it, and he was like, I think that's coffee. It smells like coffee. So I don't know if R&R Reproductions use coffee to make their winter brew. I guess so, brew. But it smells wonderful, and I do love stitching on it because of that. One thing I will say is I pulled this out of the packaging and was trying to kind of get the wrinkles out a little bit, and so we were steaming it, and there were a few places where the steam sort of left a watermark on the bottom of the fabric. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this here, but right here you can see there's like a little bit of a watermark right here from, I guess, the steam on the fabric. So that wasn't there before when I bought it. Luckily enough, this side, it doesn't look as bad. You can't really tell as much here, so that's why I chose this side. It's also not going to take up this whole fabric, so I think there'll be enough room for some framing, and it won't all show, which will be good. So, but just a word to the wise, be careful when you're steaming. Be careful when you're using hot water to get the wrinkles out of your fabric, that it can sometimes cause water stains there that I wasn't really expecting. But I'm super happy with this fabric and floss, and yeah, excited for Samantha to start this as well, along with her and everybody else. It seemed like there were a lot of people starting it, which is very, very exciting. So I will put this down for 1 second. Okay, so that is one of my new starts. The second new start I have is for my WIPGO call, and that is Laca Pati by Filipina Designs. So I'll put a picture up here of what it will look like in the end. Mine won't look exactly like that because the fabric is different. I went with a different type of fabric, a different color, but I'm stitching this on a 32 count Lugana by Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers in the colorway Haystack. I thought the Haystack would be just a good complementary fabric to her design with the golds and the yellows in there. And I think so far it's working out. I kind of like how it's a little bit blending in, but not too much. Anyway, I'll show you where I'm at. I am stitching this from the paper pattern. I tried scanning it in and I thought I had it all scanned correctly, and when I actually looked at the scan from the library, things were kind of like at an angle and it just wasn't working. So I wanted to get this started and I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna try stitching this from the paper pattern. So I don't have any statistics as far as how far I got, but you can see. So I started at the top, and so this is really the true color of the fabric. So this is what it's gonna look like, which is exciting. And then of course, as I bring it forward, that is gonna totally wash out, but I wanna show you the stitching as well. So here is where I got to. So you'll see I worked on this Krynic around her head there. And I actually started going to sort of the wheat and the leaves that she's got in her basket there, and realized that I was missing one of the green colors. I had this all kitted up and I thought it was kitted, and I realized there was one I missed. So I don't know how I did that, but I kind of got stuck and couldn't really go. I could go further, but I wanted to just wait until I had that color. So then once that was out of the plan, then I switched to going to her face and her hair. And I got started on the 1/1 stitching. So hopefully you can see that fairly well. But yeah, her face is coming together. I think her eye looks really good. And so I've got obviously the rest of her chin and neck to go here. And then there's more of her skin 1/1 that goes down here and over here at her hair as well. So I will be in her skin for a while, but she's looking beautiful. And I'm excited to have her face done sort of so early on in the project. And then the rest of the time I'll just be able to stitch down the dress and be able to see her beautiful face each time I pull it out. I guess as I scroll it up I won't, but you get the point. So that is Lakapati. Super excited. Okay. So those are my 2 starts. Let's get into whips. Now whips are works in progress, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 whips today to share. So that's exciting. I worked on a lot in the past 2 weeks. The first one I want to share is the Kiss by Mirabilia. I'll put a picture up here of where I was before. I am stitching this on a 32 count Apple Blossom linen by Witchell that I was gifted very early on in my stitching journey by another viewer who had extra from when she stitched the Kiss, so that just makes it even more special. But I'm really enjoying the look of the fabric, and as the piece comes more and more together, I just love it. So since you last saw me, I was able to add 2,240 stitches, and that puts me at 21.87% on this piece. And that also takes my total for the month to 3,127 stitches, which is awesome because that more than covers my whip go goal of 2,500 stitches. So here is where I got to on the Kiss. I'll hold it back here. This is sort of, it's much pinker. Maybe like, yeah, that's probably what the fabric really looks like. So I brought the border all the way up and down this side a little bit so that I could just work from the top down. And that meant filling in all of this sky. So basically this sky is 2,000 stitches, and there's more to it. So it is not done yet. And that's why I was able to get so many stitches in a short period of time, because this was all sort of great block stitching. I could get 100 stitches in with one thread and just kind of go. So that made it a lot easier to accomplish the goal. The other exciting thing is this here is where his head will go. So the next time I pull this out, if I wanted to, I could get started on his hair and kind of work down to his face as well. She will come in, I think her hair starts somewhere around here. I think I'm almost at the spot where her hair will come in there as well. But I think this looks really good. It's hard to tell. You can see it more in person, but there are about 4 or 5 different colors in the blues and in the whites. The white has a blend to it that adds an element of shading that looks great in person. Is a little harder to see on the camera. You can kind of get it a little bit. You see where the white kind of ends and then this blend of blue and white kind of takes over. It looks great. Nora Corbett, Mirabilia, she just knows how to do it. Honestly, she really gets the shading down perfectly, and that is evident in this skyline. So I'm very happy with this. Of course, I also have some of the dress done here that's been rolled up, which you will see as I get further down the piece and get back to it. I know I mentioned last time I was nervous about making sure everything lined up, and now that I got more of the sky in, I was able to count to, this is like my highest stitch here that I have done on the dress, and I was able to count up, and it does match. Thank goodness. So that shouldn't be a problem anymore. But yeah, this is the Kiss by Mirabilia. In the corners here, I did want to point out there will be a lot of beads and sort of metallics here. There's also you can use a bee charm, or she has a charted stitched bee that you can put in each of the 4 corners. If I can find a bee charm, I think I'd like to do that. So if anybody knows where I can get a good bee charm, or one that you would recommend, let me know. I don't think that there was one listed on the pattern as to what they used in the cover photo. So yeah, this is the Kiss by Mirabilia. A lot of fun. And I don't know exactly when this will get pulled back out, but it's great to have progress on it, and especially to now be at 21%. That's really exciting. So that's a big piece. I think total there's about 32 or 33,000 stitches in that one, so it's large. Okay, my next whip is Saga from Long Dog Samplers, and let me just pull this out because this lives in my little tube back there. Since I last saw you, I was able to add 1,223 stitches. Again, this is Saga from Long Dog Samplers. I can never say that right the first time. And it's my Leap Day start, so my goal is to finish it in 4 years for Leap Day in 2028. I'm currently at 17.09%, and I don't have a story for you this time, but I will say I am close. And you'll see with what I've got done that there's some little sneak peeks of what's coming in the story. So next video, stay tuned, and there will be another arch story coming your way. But here is where I got to this time. So now, it might not look like much, but this arch here is where I worked on. I think last time I had this little guy finished, and now I've completed this pillar. Of course, I added some little sneak peeks here along the way. I added these flowers and this bird, but really the main part of the stitching was this giant arch here at the top. It doesn't look like much, but that is 1,000 stitches. It's a lot. So as these arches get bigger, there's more time spent on the actual arch itself rather than the inside of it. And yeah, I'm really happy with how it's coming. I know it probably doesn't look like much progress, but I swear it's all in there. Anyway, so next time you will definitely see the inside of this arch. I'll get a lot more completed in there, and I'll read you the story, which will be exciting. So here's kind of the full piece that you can see. Really exciting. And speaking of long dogs, if you haven't watched M. Kissa Creations' latest video, she did sort of a video just dedicated to long dog samplers, which was really great because it showcased not only these types of patterns that we see, but long dog has a big variety of patterns and stitches that you can use. So definitely go check out her video if you haven't already. She was nice enough to call me out on stitching Saga and said she enjoyed the stories that I've been sharing along the way as well. So that was nice, and yeah, definitely go check out her video. Okay, the next piece I've got is Stack of Pancakes. This is a pattern I bought on Etsy from SammyStitches store. And since you last saw it, I was able to add 526 stitches. Sorry for the zipper. And that puts me at 30.9%. As I mentioned last time, I had been watching Jen, the Caffeinated Crafter, and she is converting all of her full coverage pieces over to diagonals, and so I am giving that a shot as well. So get ready. I apologize for all the parked threads. I know it kind of looks like a mess, but I swear there is a method to this madness. Yeah, so you saw where it was last time, and here is where it is now. So you can see that this stack is getting larger. I think you can see now there's like 1, 2, this is like the third pancake in the stack, and then I think there'll be a fourth down here. But you can really see this taking shape now that I'm working in the diagonal. And you'll see exactly the diagonal that I'm working on here. So I'm gonna continue working down here and filling in all these extra spots along the way. And then I'll just keep, working my way across until I get to the other side. So there's about 10,000 stitches in this. I am 30.9% of the way completed. So about a third of the way through it. So I have about 7,000 stitches left. So this is not a small piece. But I will say, as I worked on it in the diagonal, I was enjoying it a lot more. I think also I have to set my expectations for this project just to realize I'm not going to get as many stitches in when I stitch on this as a day as I do like the Kiss, where I was working on just sky and block stitching. I was able to crank out, I think, almost like 800 or 900 stitches in a day because it was easy. It was block stitching. Whereas a piece like this, I'm getting anywhere between 200, 250, maybe 350 on a good day. So it's just a slower process. But I think now that I've realized that and set my expectations to realize that I'm not going to accomplish as much, it's made it more enjoyable. It kind of took the pressure off getting a certain number of stitches in, and I can just enjoy it and stitch whatever I get done on it. And progress is progress. So, yeah, but it's been really fun. I'm so grateful to try out the diagonal and see how that works. I've been enjoying it so far. So this is stitched on I believe it's a 22 count black Aida that I got on 1, 2, 3 stitch. And I'm stitching it with the called for DMC, and I'm stitching it 2/1. So the stitches are rather fluffy. I don't know how well you can see that, but they are pretty fluffy, and it does make it difficult sometimes because the back is getting pretty thick, which I'll show you this back just because it's full coverage and looks different than a lot of my backs, but here's what it looks like. You can still get the pancake feel from it, but you'll notice like over in here, this area is very thick, just a lot of threads. And that's because there's so many color changes to get this design, working. So yeah, but I am enjoying it. I'm also stitching this with floss that my aunt gave me when I was in Florida. It was kind of extra that she had from her stash and wasn't going to use anymore. And I was able to kit up this whole project from her floss, which is super exciting. And I love that reminder as I stitch on this. However, the floss is older because she's had it for, decades at this point. And it does tend to tear more. And I think because it's older floss, I'm stitching it 2 strands over 1 Aida square on a 22 count, which is thick. So it shreds a lot easier than I thought it would, making this project even more difficult. So not only am I stitching on black, which is harder, but I'm stitching with a lot of threads, which is harder, and threads that are old and break more. So yeah, it's been a challenge, but I really am enjoying seeing this kind of come together. So that is a stack of pancakes. Another piece that I'm not sure when it will come back out again, but we'll see. Okay, the next piece is one that you have actually not seen in a while, and this is the Pixel Dragon Adventure Sal. This is by FlossyFox Shop. I got the pattern on Etsy, and this was a sal she did last year. So I believe she has started a new sal this year. It's like a wintry dragon sal. It looks really cute. If you're interested, definitely check out her Etsy page and take a look at that. I am not doing that one this year because I'm still working on last year's. That was huge. But As you know, if you've been at this channel, this was my daily stitch for a while, where I would pull it out and just put one length of floss in each day. And then I kind of got sidetracked. August and September have kind of thrown me for a little bit of a loop with vacations and other plans, and so I kind of stopped it for a while, and I said I would pick that back up in September, which I have. So since the last time you saw it, I've added 768 stitches, and I am now at 80.94% on the pattern, which is super exciting. So I hit the 80% mark. There's still quite a lot to do. This is not a small piece, but I'm excited to at least be at 80%. I'm stitching this along with Erica from Fibers and Floss Canada and Samantha, the Higa Stitcher, for the Year of the Dragon Sal. And the goal for this is to finish this in the Year of the Dragon, which I think I have until February of next year. So hopefully I'm on target. I haven't really kind of mapped it out. I'm just working the daily stitch and see how it goes. But I'm stitching this on a, ooh, what is this? I think this is, see, it's been so long now I'm starting to forget my fabrics. Do you know what it is, Winston? Can you tell me? What is it? Oh, is that right? That's what it is? Okay. I think Winston said it's a 28 count Lugana, and I'm stitching this 1/1. This is a, I think it's from Fabric Flair, where it's printed, so on the back it's white, and then on the front it's green. This is the true color of the fabric, and, sorry, just getting used to where to go. Here is what I worked on this time. So I've been working in this corner here, and you saw last time I had just started this flower pot and maybe a little bit of the campfire here. Since I was in my camping era that I said last time, I figured why not work on this campfire? So I did. I was able to get the campfire done, this flower pot done, and then also this little Sprite dragon, which is super, super cute. So these are very, very tiny, very, very tiny stitches, and it makes the piece kind of smaller. So if you've seen people stitching this before, their piece was probably a lot bigger, but I really love it. Look at the, yeah, when I look at this all together, I really just love it. So I have started a little bit on here. There will be a fish that goes in this section here, green fish, and I've also filled in a little bit of this green here. So that's what I'm working on, and then I will continue to work my way up towards the top. I believe there's one bigger dragon here and then a smaller dragon here, and then the rest will be little motifs that kind of go around the edge. So this is my Pixel Dragon adventure. It's been a lot of fun. I can't believe it's been a year already since I've been working on this piece. I remember starting it when I was very new to stitching still at this point, and this was my second sal that I had joined. The first was Quaternion Creations Odyssey sal, and this was the second one I joined, and I thought I'm definitely going to keep up with this. And now here a year later I'm still working on it, but it is fun to work on. I like it as the daily stitch project because one thread is kind of enough to stitch 1/1 on 28 count on that fabric. And so I don't know if I could do it all day long, but I am getting more used to it, and I do like seeing the daily progress. So anyway, enough about that stitch. The final whip I have for you is another stitch along that I'm hosting, and this is along with Alex from SammyStitches on Instagram and Laura Laladi Stitches. We all three started Comfort Lighthouse for the hashtag Let Your Lighthouse Shine Sal. This piece is by Carriage House Samplings, but you can feel free to join in with any Lighthouse piece you have, and feel free to tag us or use the hashtag to share your Lighthouse pieces. There's so many good Lighthouse stitches out there, and it's been really great to see everybody's projects and progress. So you saw where I was last time, and I've gotten a lot done on this piece. Something about this piece I just have enjoyed so much. I don't even need to show you the cover photo because I'm close to a finish. Look at this. Is it not stunning? I just love these colors. So this is on a 36 count, 36 count, ooh, what is it? I think Ren by Picture This Plus, maybe? Ooh, I can't even remember. I will look up and make sure it's in the cover card. And I'm stitching this with the Needlepoint Silks conversion. So they have a DMC listed and they have Needlepoint Silks. And when I saw this in the shop, I knew I had to use the silks. So last time you saw it, I had just started the ship here. And as you can see, I was able to finish the whole ship. I worked on the compass up here and then filled in the rest of these little fishies. I think I maybe had one fish done previously. And then I went down and started on the mermaid, and the mermaid's hair, I just love how it's like part of the waves. I think that's so cool. Oops. And Winston needs to go under his blanket. Hold on one second. Go ahead. Go. Okay, Winston is all tucked in under his blanket. He's had enough. Hopefully you're still enjoying this. I know it's a longer one. Yeah, so then I worked on the mermaid herself, and boy was that fun. Her tail is just beautiful with all those like different stitches in there. I know it's just kind of like a similar pattern, but it just makes her tail look so cool. And I was trying sort of a new way of stitching that to try to keep my back as neat as possible on this piece. And so I'll show you what the back looks like on this one. But you can see in her tail, even though I was stitching different colors a lot, the tail still looks pretty neat. And so I was really happy with the outcome of that. Just for a challenge for me. I know the back doesn't really mean anything, but I wanted to see how neat I was able to keep it on this piece, and so far it's been good. But as you can see, so yeah, then I finished the mermaid, and then I came down here and did these little fishes, which I love this striped one. He's so cute. Then I worked on the anchor, and so what I have left is this bottom border of the wave goes all the way across. So you can see I'm probably about half, well, maybe 60% of the way across the bottom. So I need to carry that all the way over to the edge. I was working on that a little bit last night, and I was trying to like think, can I push this to a finish? And I just got kind of burnt out from those waves. They're not hard and it's an easy design, but once I do it so many times repetitiously, then I kind of get burnt out. So I will try to finish that. And then the very last thing I have is in this space here, there will be a smaller crab like this, but a smaller one in this section. And that's all that's left on this piece. So I know it's not summer anymore. I know we're into autumn, but I may have to pull this out and just push this to a finish before my next video, because I'm so close and I love it. It's gonna look great when it's framed and hopefully hanging on my wall. But yeah, this is Comfort Lighthouse by Carriage House Samplings. If you are at all interested in this pattern, I highly, highly recommend it. It's so much block stitching, which makes it really nice, very easy to stitch on. And I know it's in the name, Comfort Lighthouse, but there is just something so comforting about this piece, which is why I was able to kind of fly through it so quickly. The silks help as well. They are very enjoyable. So yeah, let me know how far you are on this project if you're stitching along with the hashtag, and yeah, keep stitching on your lighthouse pieces, even if it is fall. Okay, and that's all the whips I have for you. That's all the stitching I got done, which feels like a lot, so that was good. Let's move on to plans real quick. So kind of a recap on September, my whip goals were 2,500 stitches on the Kiss and 2,500 on Laca Pati. The Kiss is completed, that one is done. And Lakapati, I have scheduled her for my 5-day rotation, so she's got 2 more days left in that rotation. And since I'm not counting stitches for her, I'm kind of switching that goal to just be the 5-day rotation on her. And that's partially because I am in the skin as well, which I wasn't expecting to be. So since I'm doing the skin 1/1, that's a lot more stitches than is actually being marked off. But also, since it's not in my markup RXP, I'm not tracking my stitches so easily. So anyway, that goal is just going to be 5 days. So I've got 2 more days left on her. So you'll definitely see some more progress on her before the next video. And then my 5-4-3 rotation, other than the 2 days on Laca Pati, that is completed for the month of September. Unfortunately, I'm filming like 1 or 2 days before Jesse from Jesse Marie Does Stuff will release the WhoopGo numbers for October. So I don't have what they will be yet. And that makes plans a little bit more difficult to decide or to kind of map out what I'm going to do. So within the next day or two, I'll get that a little bit more solidified and be able to share with you in my next video what my October plans are. I do have another start coming in October, I think, and I'm really excited about that one, so stay tuned for that. You should see it next time I come back to the next video. And then I know I mentioned before, but I am sort of planning on switching up my plans for next year. So obviously I want to get through WhoopGo of this year, but when I made my WhoopGo board last year, I put on some very lofty goals, and although I've been accomplishing them and meeting them, it kind of has dictated most of my progress during the month. So next year, I'm going to continue to do WhoopGo, of course, but I'm going to make the stitch counts smaller, and I'm going to use a tiny decision wheel to kind of help me pick how many stitches on each project. There'll be a few months where there will be bigger numbers called, but for the most part, there'll be much more doable numbers, and so that won't take up my entire month. So that being said, I'm going to try to do a new stitching rotation focus. I have been doing the 5-4-3 rotation, which I've really enjoyed. Unfortunately, I think a lot of times it goes to my WhoopGo pieces just because I need the time to complete those goals. But I'm going to switch it up a little bit. So I'm going to have kind of around 7 or 8 focus projects that I will work on, or that I'll have kind of in my steady rotation that I can kind of pick from and work from. Within each of those projects, I'm going to set little tiers, goals for the project. Once I reach a tier, then the project will go back into my whip pile and a new project will replace it. I know this might sound confusing now. I probably will do an extra video just on my plans because if you're interested, because it is a little nerdy, I think, but I really enjoy planning, and that's part of the fun of this hobby for me. And yeah, so I'll probably do a separate video just to explain it all. But one of the categories of projects that will be included is a new thing I'm going to call Which Whip. And Which Whip is a chance for you to help me decide what to work on. So what I'm going to do is, in my tiny decision wheel, I have put all of my projects in here, all of my whips, and with the exception of 2, I have not put Pixel Dragon Adventure Sal or Saga in here. And the only reason for those is because they will continue to get their progress. Saga has a dedicated day each week, and that is not changing, so you will still see progress on that, and Pixel Dragon Adventure will be my daily stitch. So the other projects I put in this wheel. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to spin the wheel now and choose 2 projects. And then I'm going to leave it up to you to choose, to tell me which you would rather see, so that the next time I come back in the video, we'll have a tally of the votes for either project, and we'll know which one you guys would like to see me work on more, and then we can go from there. And I'll set the goal and we'll get that done. Now, I'm not saying that I will have that goal completed by the next video or anything like that, but that goal will go into my future stitching rotation. Anyway, that will make sense later. But let's go ahead and see what projects are called today. So here is the wheel. I've got all my projects on there. I'm going to go ahead and spin it. Let's see what comes up first. Ooh, stack of pancakes. So you've just seen this one, but yeah, that's the first call. So that is one of your options. I'm not going to pull that back out since I just showed it to you today, but that is one of your options. So that's stack of pancakes. And let's go ahead and spin again. I think I set it so that it won't call the same one twice. Should be blacked out. Okay, and the second one is Comfort Lighthouse. So, I guess tell me what you would rather stitch on. I'm trying to decide if I should just pick a new one for Comfort Lighthouse because I'm so close to finishing that anyway. I think I will. Let's not include that one. Let's do one more. Let's see what we get. Ooh, Beyonce. Okay, so this app really wants me to work on some full coverage. um, I'll try to put a picture in here of where I was on the Beyonce whip months ago. I think I haven't worked on it since maybe March, since I got it pulled out. So that's fun. So in the comments below, please let me know whether you would vote for Stack of Pancakes or Beyonce. You can put Pancakes or Beyonce for your vote. And until the next video, I will tally those up and we'll see who is the winner. And then I'll come back and let you know what the stitch goal is on that piece. And yeah, like I said, stay tuned for a future Flosstube Extra with kind of more of my planning schedule for, it won't be the rest of this year, but I definitely will start it in January. But I wanted to get this witch whip sort of fun part going so that you guys could help me dictate what goes in there into the rotation. Okay, then as far as haul, I don't actually have a lot of haul right now. I did have one thing I wanted to share. So I'm in a Teresa Wentzler group on Facebook. And as you know, I have not started any Teresa Wentzlers yet, but that is about to change. In this group, people are posting their progress, and I have just loved seeing the work on these pieces. They are beautiful, beautiful pieces. I know they take forever, but they're beautiful. So I've been kind of collecting patterns and kits along the way to see which one I want to start first. And someone in that group posted that they were kind of getting rid of their Teresa Wentzler collection, and they had a lot of stuff. And they were kind of doing it out of the kindness of their heart. They didn't want payment for it. They didn't want us to pay shipping. Basically, you just kind of reached out and said like what you were interested in, and if it was still available, they would ship it. So I had reached out to her and said, do you happen to have the Egyptian sampler? And the reason for that is I've seen this one a number of times. I think it's beautiful, and it's always very expensive. Even if you can find it on eBay, the pattern alone can be very, very pricey. So I just reached out asking if she happened to have it, and she said yes, and she sent it my way, which was so, so kind. And not only did she send the pattern, but it was the full kit. So I now have a Teresa Wentzler kit of the Egyptian sampler. Here is what it looks like. I love it. And I think these faces down here, they're all 1/1. I don't think anything else is 1/1, but the faces for sure are. But there's so much detail work in the border. I don't know. This one I've always been drawn to. So I think this is going to be my first Teresa Wentzler start. I was so excited to receive it. I know it's a more rare pattern. You can still find it. It just is a little bit pricier. And because it worked out that I was able to get this for free, I want to start this because I want this to actually happen. So this, I think, is going to be my first Teresa Wentzler start. Wish me luck. But that was my stitchy kindness. I was still floored, and I reached back out and I said, is there anything I can do? Can I please pay for shipping or something? And she said, no, I want you to enjoy this project. I want you to have it. And yeah, so that was so, so kind. Really awesome. But other than that, I don't think I have any haul. So I think I'm kind of nearing the end of the video. I hope I didn't forget anything or anyone that I talked to in the last week. I felt like I had a lot to go through today. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, if you're new here, thank you so much for stopping by. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for spending time with me and letting me chat about stitching. I love doing this so much and coming to you guys with all my stitching questions and problems and fun things. It's just been really awesome. So keep running if you're a runner. Always keep stitching and be kind to whoever you meet on your journey. Bye for now. Until the next stitch.